Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Is it okay, the shloka number?
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narotamam
Naranchaiva Narottamam
Devim Sarasatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudire
Tato Jayamutire
Nasta Prayasha Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayasu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiti.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Anam cha kuru shesha
Atam ka Kurukshetra
ena manase kshitam
Krishnena Manase
ayan gate bhagavate
Sayankate Bhagavate
roda prema vihvalaha
Roda
atmanam cha kuru shesha
Atmanam cha Gurukshetra
krishnena manase kshitam
Krishnena
Manasekshitam
ayan gate bhagavate
Janagate Bhagavate
roda
Rurodha
Roda
Prema Vihala
atmanam cha kuru shesha
Atmana Cha Kurushrestha
krishnena manase kshitam
Krishna Manaseksitam
ayan gate bhagavate
Janam Gate Bhagavate
oda prema vihvalaha
Rurodha Prema Vivlaha
atmanam cha kuru shesha
Atmanam Cha Kurushrestha
krishnena manase kshitam
Krishnena
Krishnena Manaseksitam
ayan gate bhagavate
Janayan Gate Bhagavate
oda prema vihvalaha
Roda
Rurodha Prema Vivhala
Atmanam cha kuru shesha.
Atmanam cha kuru shrestha.
Krishnena manasekshitam.
Krishna manasheksitam.
Gate Bhagavate.
Janangate Bhagavate.
Rodha prema vihvalaha.
Roda prema vivala.
Atmanam cha kuru shesha.
Atmanam cha kuru shrestha.
Ena manasekshitam.
Krishna manasheksitam.
Jayan gate Bhagavate.
Jayam gate Bhagavate. Roda prema vivala.
Purushesha.
Purushesha.
Manasekshitam.
Roda prema vilvam
Yes.
Atmanam cha guru chetra Krishna namachetam Dayan kate bhagavate Rudo prema vilvaha.
Hare Krishna. Atmanam cha kurushrestha Krishna manekshitam Dhyayam gate bhagavate Ruruda prema vihvalaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Atmanam cha kuru shrestha Krishnena manasekshitam Dhyayan gate bhagavate Ruroda prema vivalaha. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
But nobody else wants to say. Atmanam himself. Cha also. Kuru Sheshta. Oh, best among the Kurus. Krishnena by Krishna. Manasa by the mind. Ikshitam, remember. Dhyayan, thus thinking of. Gate, having God. Bhagavate, of the devotee. Ruroda, cried loudly. Prema vihvalaha, overwhelming ecstasy of love. Understanding that he was remembered by Lord Krishna while quitting this world, Vidura began to cry loudly, overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love. Understanding that he was remembered by Lord Krishna by quitting this world, Vidura began to cry loudly, overwhelmed by ecstasy of love. Hare Krishna, Neha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Vidura was overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love when he understood that Lord
Mataji, along with your voice, some Trinavata is also coming. Huge tufan. some sound problem. Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Vidura was overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love when he understood that Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thought of him at the last moment. Although he thought of himself as insignificant, he was remembered by the Lord by his causeless mercy. Vidura accepted this as a great favor and thus he cried. This crying is the last word in the progressive path of devotional service. One who can cry for the Lord in love is certainly successful in the line of devotional service.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshaya Shunyavadi Ashad Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So crying. Atmanam cha kuru sheshta Krishnena manasekshitam Dhyayan gate bhagavate Duroda prema vihvalaha. Understanding that he was remembered by Lord Krishna while quitting this world, Vidura began to cry loudly, overwhelmed by ecstasy of love. So this crying is not ordinary. This is a symptom of great spiritual advancement. Let us understand crying. We say so many kind of crying. We say crocodile tears. So many kind of crying is there. They say it's the last weapon, sign of helplessness. Why does somebody cry? Helpless. And it starts crying. Somebody, we cry when we feel some injustice has happened to us. Why do people cry? But this cry is different. We do not know of this crying that Vidura is doing. Why generally people cry? We do some injustice, then they cry. Somebody speaks very harshly to you, you start crying. But this crying is in the modes of material nature. And sometimes people cry out of joy also. They cry out of great happiness. There is the instance of Ramanujacharya. And it is Guru, when he offended the Lord, spoke very harsh, wrong translation of some verse. Krishna's eyes are red like something, a very wrong translation. Ramanujacharya started crying and tears were hot. Out of pain. One more place he heard crying. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadeva hidayesha vilokayanti yamashama sundaram achintya guna swarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Here also it says crying. It's unless you will cry for Krishna, prema anjana, then you cannot see the Lord. There is in Bhagavad Gita also crying, second chapter. Tam tata kripaya vishtam ashupurnakshulekshanam vishidantamidam bhakyam uvacha madhusudana ashu. Tears are rolling down the eyes of Arjuna. So this crying has to be now organized. There's so many concepts of crying. So let us take a tamasic person first. What is the tamasic person? The tamasic person by nature cries. That's why it's called tamasic. Shudra means cry. All the time he cries. All the time he cries. Therefore, it is said when somebody comes to spiritual practice, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, na shochati na kashati. Shudra means all the time shochati and kashati. Always hankering for a certain thing and always crying for what he lost. That is Shudra. Shudra mentality. Correct? Remembering the past and crying. His own faults, other own fault, people fault and cry. He did like that. He spoke like that. And cry. That is called a Shudra. So he cries and full of desires, mental strong desires. Definitely he has desires, a subtle plane also. When there is strong gross desires, then also there are subtle desires. If water is present, then vapor is also present. Sometimes water may not be present, but some water vapor may be present. So some people, they may have finished gross desire, for subtle desire for mana puja pratishtha will be there. And that you don't know, other people know. You may not be aware, your desire for mana puja pratishtha. Other people are definitely aware. We may speak 2 hours about ourselves, we don't even know what we did. Another person is suffocated within 5 minutes, but he doesn't know. Right? Swakatha, Krishna Katha. We very much like to speak about ourselves. I'm doing like that. This I did, then I did, then I did like that. Then there I went there, then I went there. We do not mind to speak shamelessly about ourselves. Actually, as a gentleman, we should be ashamed to speak about ourselves. Any gentleman. We should be ashamed to speak about ourselves. But we like to speak for hours for ourselves. That's why. Shamelessly speak about ourselves. With no shame. And shamelessly we want to be noticed. So the coming higher platform, that tamoguna, rajoguna is like attention seekers we can put on that category. They want to seek attention. They want to be noticed. They want to be worshipped. And you will not know, whole world will know. That's the biggest joke. Therefore, they say in professional term, ego massage. There is a physical massage, there is an ego massage. Ego massage means some person believes he's something. I am like that. I am like that. It develops some kind of nonsense ego, false ego. It's not real. It's false ego. And that when you want to talk to him, you do ego massage. He believes he is a great in something, and you tell that. Oh, how is that? I heard nowadays you are doing that. Yeah. You just do ego massage. Make it very comfortable. लोग सोचते हैं एक चीज में किसी में निपुण है, निपुण नहीं है, ऐसे ही सोचते हैं. And people, just to make them comfortable, they speak about. So the tamoguna person is very difficult to deal. He has all these kind of problems. Rajoguna is slightly better from tamoguna, but there is also some harassment of the mind. And he cries also for material hankerings. Sometimes nowadays so common, boys and girls, they get involved. When they break up, they cry for at least 6 months. In movies also, they will have so many songs. And the childhood, I remember, so many songs are there. And where they cry. The songs are also crying. People are also here, they cry. Satoguna, crying stops. The material crying stops in Satoguna. Satoguna person is in Prakasha, he is in clear knowledge. Radha Govinda ki. At least mental knowledge has come. He has understood he is not body and spirit, soul. And it is difficult for somebody who has not tasted Krishna consciousness to understand crying in Krishna consciousness. There was Madhvendra Puri who was crying because of his advanced Krishna consciousness, Mahabhava. Only Jiva experienced Mahabhava, Madhindapuri. Intense separation from the Lord. And he was crying in humility, my Lord, I'm not able to enter Madhurapuri. What should I do? Very beautiful prayers. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu repeats the prayer, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, when he's explaining the Shir Chor Gopinath Diti, Madhya Leela, and then he started explaining how fortunate was Madhindapuri. The Lord so many times came in his dreams. How fortunate is he? Then it says Madhindapuri actually at the time was leaving the world, used to utter this prayer. My Lord, what do I do now? I'm not able to enter Madhura, your Mathura, your Krishna, your Loka. I'm not able to enter. What should I do now? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just by repeating the lines, fainted in ecstasy. Just, what do I do now? What do I do now? Very sweet words of helplessness. That's an advanced devotee. In fact, Rupa Goswami also says very similarly, he says, my Lord, I don't have any knowledge. I don't have even any devotion. But I am hoping against hope that one day you will accept me. So devotee has that very advanced stage of helplessness. Even Radharani in a Mahabhava expresses that. A total helplessness, waiting for Krishna to come and hoping against hope one day he will come. Correct? That's Vipralambha Bhava. So this is very advanced. The spiritual life crying is there. That's what Vidura was crying. He was not crying because of Tamoguna. He lost some wealth. Duryodhana was so hard on me and he spoke such hard words. He was not crying. Rajaguna, Tamoguna, somebody spoke. Why you have to be bothered about that? Why you want to spoil your life? Sometimes people want to take Tamoguna, I think, speak harshly to somebody who wants to take revenge. He cannot forget whole life. But in Rajaguna, in Satoguna, even if Satoguna person is beyond this mana of the world. Therefore, it is said to sit and chant peacefully. Trinada peacefully chena, tarorapi sahishvana, amani namanadena, kirtanaya sada hari. So if you want to chant Krishna's holy name peacefully, constantly, then you have to be out of this. Because if your mind is always contaminated, polluted by faults of others, focus is only that in your life, then what spiritual advancement will you live? How will you chant Hare Krishna? Why did he say that to me? What did he think of himself? Correct? If this is your kind of attitude, how will you chant the holy name? Therefore, a devotee who is fixed up in devotional life doesn't have this weakness in his mind to criticize others, to find fault in others. It is said in Nectar of Instruction that an advanced devotee, one of the qualities is free from tendency to criticize others. That actually comes because of pride. The guru has a business to find fault. What is your business? Then you are entertaining yourself, correct? What is your business? Your business to seek association. For that you do discrimination. That's okay. But just to do faults for no purpose doesn't make any business. You take temperature somebody, you must be his doctor. No, if you're taking his temperature. If you're not his doctor, why you're taking temperature? I come to somebody's house, take a thermometer, take his temperature, and call the whole colony. 103 the temperature. Look at him. Why? What is the utility? If you're his doctor, he can take a temperature. There is a relationship. Because then if you tell him some instruction, he will follow. If there is no relationship, even if you're a doctor, don't take the temperature. Correct? What's the point? Simply waste of time for you and him. So mind has to be very fixed in Krishna consciousness. So then, therefore there is crying, very advanced. This is what Vidura is crying, we can't even understand. As far as general little realization goes, In the beginning stage, when you are practicing Krishna consciousness, we are just trying to struggling to keep the mind away from any harassment. So the whole Krishna consciousness to keep the mind pure and no disturbance. But as the faith develops, then is the stage the prayer starts to develop. The whole day we pray to the Lord because faith is developed and we understand our helplessness at Krishna's lotus feet. I'm totally helpless. And that when enhances those prayers, then tears come. Hopelessly, helplessly is crying to the Lord. Correct? And then only you can feel you're becoming a devotee. Devotee means is always somebody asked Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, should we pray sometimes? Prabhupada looked at him. That's your only business. So spontaneous because he's a great acharya. That is what we should be doing. That's your only business. All the time pray. So in advanced stage of Krishna consciousness, we are able to pray intensely and sometimes tears are involved. You see so many classes, Srila Prabhupada is speaking like a lion. Suddenly he speaks something, his heart breaks and he starts crying. He's speaking one class, I remember Prabhupada crying. Prabhupada is speaking about Bhishma, such a great acharya Bhishma is. And then he says, Bhishma is so great actually that Krishna came to see him when he was leaving the body. He's so great. And then Prabhupada starts crying. He's so great that Krishna came to see him when he was leaving the body. True? So one more place I remember, Prabhupada is saying, actually when we cook for the Lord, our mood should be like this. My Lord, I do not know, my Lord, how to cook for you. Neither I have any love for you. When I'm offering to you, I have no love. My Lord, please accept this. And Prabhupada, that's a mood. Prabhupada, that's a mood of offering service to the Lord. Not that I'm special. My Lord, I don't know how to do this service. Neither I have any love for you. But please, you accept this service. Take it as a sign of spiritual advancement. Take it as a sign of spiritual advancement. So, Vidura's crying is in the same attitude. He's feeling so fortunate that Krishna remembered him. He's totally overwhelmed. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Vrindavan. And somebody just blew a flute and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fainted. Because there is intense love of Krishna flowing in the heart. It just needs a little trigger. There is total system breaks down. Either you faint or you start crying uncontrollably. Like Vidura here. Heart is full of love of Krishna. Intense waves and ripples of love of Krishna going on. And moment there is little mention, Krishna remembered me moving because of his advanced Krishna consciousness. Everything burst. Huge tsunami of tears start flowing up. He could lost control. Loudly crying with his mouth open. There is Bhagavatam, there is one more instance of crying. That is of Chitraketu. Chitraketu, when his son died, Harshashoka died, he was crying. Both husband and wife are crying with the mouth open. Full mouth crying. But that is in Rajoguna, Tamoguna, that kind of crying, a meaningless cry. Okay. In Bhagavad Gita also, Arjuna was crying by Krishna's arrangement. Krishna doesn't address it crying at all. Doesn't even look at it. Doesn't even sympathize with it. Ashupunakshulekshanam. And Krishna says immediately, what happened to you, Arjuna? Kutaste kashmalamidam. What is this, Arjuna? Anarijustam, aswargam, akirti. Anarjustam, Arjuna, these words, what you have spoken, these are all words of an uncivilized person. Akirti, this will lead to infamy, Arjuna. What are you speaking? Gone crazy or what? No sympathies for those crocodile tears. Yeah? No, Arjuna, don't worry. I think you can do it. That's what we would have responded. We would have also started crying. Arjuna doesn't behave like that. Krishna doesn't behave like that. Rather, he's smiling. Fool number one. What is speaking like a fool? In fact, we don't see Krishna crying anytime. Krishna is always smiling happily. So Vidura began to cry, overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love. So this is what is needed actually. We should also dream how fortunate is Vidura. One day I want to cry like Vidura. That should be there. I want to advance in Krishna consciousness and cry to Krishna. Krishna, please give me shelter. Krishna, let me become a nice devotee. Okay. And these kind of tears are welcome. And Prabhupada says, advancing in Krishna consciousness means one day to cry like Vidura. That is advancing in Krishna consciousness. Okay. When the day will come, to cry like this all along. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody. So no tears, nobody is crying here.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Just afterthought, one more instance I remember. Srila Prabhupada was in one park with the devotees. And its people are suit, boot, all dressed up with the suitcases running and catching a bus. In the park, he was watching all the people running. So suddenly one devotee looked at Prabhupada's face. Tears were rolling down his eyes. He said, Prabhupada, what happened? What are you thinking? Prabhupada said, how these people can be saved? They are thinking they are very successful. Suit, boot, tie, big job. Totally materialistic. No idea about Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said, how they can be saved? Prabhupada used to many times say, with the heart, save your countrymen. To tell the devotees, save your countrymen. So actually compassion, somebody do not easy. Name ruchi, jive daya. This is very advanced. Actually, we are not preaching on that platform. The real platform is of jive daya. We have compassion for the people of suffering. Okay. I think with that I close. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
प्रभुजी धन्यवाद प्रणाम.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Sasang Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.